Hello and welcome to the Philippines. Experience Philippine culture on this walk from the downtown area down by Carbone Market, a little closer to the sea, not so far from Pier 1 area, the passenger terminals, ferry terminals, and you've got the new buses, you've got jeepneys, you've got downtown is a busy place. Uh, Surprisingly, I don't see, and I go down there, I don't know, at least once a month, sometimes a little more often, and they've got the Carbone Market down there. They've got a number of historical sites, Fort San Pedro, I think it's called, and the piers, a couple museums, Magellan's Cross, a couple older Filipino churches, very interesting architecture. And depending upon the day, now I went down here kind of late afternoon. I walked down here to check out some veterinary supply places. I was looking for some medicines that are used off-label. Have you guys heard of off-label use of medicines? They do Viagra, for instance, was used off-label. You know, they designed it as some sort of a heart medicine, and they found out that it had other uses. Maybe they could make more money selling it for its present purpose. So yeah. Anyway, I didn't really find quite what I was looking for. I have found it online here in the Philippines, but
You know what that means?
she's wearing a shirt that says "C'est la vie." So I asked her, "Do you know what "C'est la vie" means?" I took about 2 weeks of French classes
How are you, I think?
in college. My roommate was a I think he had a French minor, and he talked me into taking a French course, and it was a little more difficult. I was taking a heavy load of classes, and just I could not keep up with what the instructor was requiring. But yeah, the downtown area, it's an older area. You've got quite a number of malls, some older malls. You've got Metro, you've got grocery stores, you've got Colonnade, which I've heard that it's one of the cheaper places to shop at for groceries. But I've gone in there. The things that I normally buy are pretty close to the same price that I would get at Metro in Ayala. Although Metro gets so busy that more often I either go to the market, and you'll see that towards the end of this video, or I'll go over to Rustin's. I think Robinson's owns Rustin's. Some of the stuff is a little bit more expensive, but they don't have nearly the long lines that you have in, you might wait 20, 30 minutes in Rustin's. Anyway, walking downtown, I learned the hard way again. I need to watch where I'm walking, because some of these sidewalks are pretty good, but others are, they've got holes in the sidewalk. They've got a step up and a step down where you wouldn't think there would be one. Got a I'm not sure if he's Cebu City Traffic, I think. He was writing citations, traffic citations. I talked to him just a little bit about the traffic and enforcement, and he said, yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, there's people with no licenses, no registration on their vehicles, making not flagrantly not following any traffic laws. Of course, a lot of these people never gone to any schooling. Those who have licenses, some of them have bought their license from a fixer, 6, 7, 8 1,000 pesos is what I've been told. And or if you're a foreigner, your license is good for about 90 days. 90 days, and they're unlikely if you're on a tourist visa. It depends on where you're at. I've heard that out in the province, out in the country, LTO, land transportation offices, are a little more lenient in giving out driver's licenses to foreigners on tourist visas. But here in the city, they're pretty strict, which makes sense. If you're a tourist, they assume you're a short stay. Why would they go to the trouble of issuing a driver's license, have it in their system? If you're a short stay person, it just makes sense. Anyway, yeah, a number of stores, bakeries, gadget places, a lot of little vendors on the stores selling clothes, selling watch repair guys, cell phone repair guys. Rubber stamps are still real popular here. There's a number of guys sitting on the streets selling and manufacturing. They'll make a rubber stamp for you on the spot. I think won't take them too long. Selling plants, selling fish. I've seen guys with bags of fish out here on the street. But selling food and fruit, all sorts of things on the sidewalk and out on the street, taking up half of a lane, traffic lane, setting up their stands out there. The Philippine city has, gosh, I've been here 9 years, 10 years almost in Cebu City, and for the last 5+ years, probably 6 or 7 years, they've been talking about trying to make the downtown area more tourist friendly. And when I first came here in 2015, I told Filipinos, yeah, I want to go downtown. I want to go to Carbone Market, which is a big wholesale retail marketplace. You get all your fresh vegetables and fruits and meats down in that area, and even clothes and hardware. And they said, no, sir, don't go down there. It's very dangerous. So I put it off for a couple of months. And I finally went down there. Didn't have any issues. I mean, it can get very, very crowded, so you need to beware. A couple of occasions, little kids trying to get into my pocket, so you have to be aware of that. In fact, on this trip, as I got down in the market area, a lot of kids asking money and tapping me. They're short. They're tapping me on my back pocket, on my front pocket area, and unfortunately, none of them were trying to get in. I've got pretty good zipper on the pants I wore down there, so nobody tried to get into my pocket to get my wallet or any money or valuables. But yeah, you need to be aware of your surroundings. Here I'm right across the street is where I'm going, is a place called the Barracks, and they've got gosh, maybe 100 different food vendors in there. Big, couple large seating areas. Although during rush hour it can get busy enough where it's a little more difficult to find a place to sit. But well worth the visit. And a little bit of a park area. Everybody sees the camera. And a little wave and smile. People in the jeepneys. And this was one of the times I did not bring an extra battery along, and my battery died about 2 hours into of taking videos yesterday. And anyway, yeah, there was a lot of stuff to video later at night around the market as it was nighttime, and a little bit of a different atmosphere. Part of the public market is allowed to set up at about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Some are there all day, but there are certain areas that are only allowed to set up late afternoon. I think Sunday they're allowed to be up pretty much all day, is what I've been told. But yeah, they're trying to make Carbone Market more friendly for tourists, more sanitary. There's a place called, they're building a multi-story building called, I think, Heritage Square, I believe. That, not quite sure what all's going to be in there. Filipino foods and crafts and that type of thing, I would presume.
Say hello to the world.
And yeah, you need a jeepney. I asked for directions a couple times. He said, "Oh, take jeepney this number." I said, "No, no, no, I'm walking. I'm walking. I don't want a jeepney." So, but there's a number, and usually there's it says on the side where they're going. Watch your head if you get in a jeepney or one of these electric tricycles or a motorized tricycle. They bounce around a bit. They don't have the best shocks, and it's pretty easy to hit your head on the roof or the side rail. I've done it a few times. Bicycles. Many people started riding bicycles during the travel lockdowns, the pandemic, because there was virtually no public transportation. If you had a job or someplace to go and were allowed out of your house, it's a long walk to go to some places, and yeah, more and more people bought bicycles, and they put in bike lanes in some areas of the city, but everybody uses the bike lanes. They took part of the traffic lane, and they made it into, I don't know, about a 3-foot wide maybe bicycle lane, but everybody uses it. There's not enough room. Because otherwise you have, on a 4-lane road, you've got each 2 lanes is now 1.5 lanes. So people share that 1.5, plus they use the bicycle lane. I bought some of these. I don't know if they're. It says navel oranges, I think. I forget. Relatively cheap. Was it 20? I forget. Pretty cheap per kilogram. So I got some of those. I found kiwis, which are difficult to find. Not a lot of places have them. Even some of the supermarkets don't have them. But kiwi is a very, very healthy.
No problem.
This guy almost ran into me because I wasn't paying attention. I was looking the other way. Yeah, a lot of manual labor down here. Boy, they're pushing these carts around with tables to be set up different places. Some people hire them to. You'll see a little later. Big heavy push cart to load up all the stuff they're buying down here. Yeah, this kind of the front end of Carbone Market. Interesting place. You do want to be aware of your surroundings. Make sure you don't get in a big, heavy, pushing crowd, which can happen at times because you've got not just pedestrians, you've got 4-wheel vehicles trying to drive on some of these streets. You've got motorbikes and electric tricycles trying to share the skinny little roads with pedestrians, because of course they're just the Philippines is about the size of the state of Arizona, about the size of Nevada. Italy is a little bit larger land-wise, but like Arizona has 7 million people. Phoenix, Arizona, one of the larger cities. I think they're in the top 6 or 7, number 7 large cities in the USA. Anyway, 7 million in the state of Arizona. 115 million in the same area. 7 versus 115 million. So 107, 8 million more people in the same land area. Throw 100 million people into your country and imagine the issues. Clams, I think here. Yeah, this is part of the barracks.
All seafood.
The barracks with all the food
Food
vendors.
Maybe a little later.
And they're out there trying to grab you and get you to buy their stuff. But yeah, think about the poverty and there no way there's going to be enough jobs if you drop 100 million people plus into your country. Lots and lots and lots of food down here. No alcohol. I asked a few places if they do sell alcohol. No, not allowed in here. They sell all kinds of other soft drinks. I gave up soft drinks many years ago. I started a new channel more related to health here a while back. I still need to populate it with many more videos before I advertise it, because there's not much on there right now. But yeah, some of you know that I occasionally do a video about making sauerkraut, making kefir, making different fermented type things and other things. But I'm expanding the information. I spend I could make a lot more and a lot better Filipino videos, but I spend so much time lechon, so much time watching science and health and medical types of videos. Don't have time to watch many other Filipino vloggers. Number one, just the time involved. You know, if you watch a video 10, 15, 20 minutes and you watch a few of those, man, half the day is gone. And boy, I've got a little bit of a life outside of YouTube. 130 for the chicken breasts, I think. Very cheap. Blood, pork blood.
Blood of pork.
I don't know if you put that in a cup and just eat the blood.
Eat like a soup.
I know in there are different parts in the U.S. where they have what's called blood sausage. It wasn't popular around my part of the country, but there were other areas up around northern Minnesota, Hibbing, I think. My older daughter married somebody from northern Minnesota, and he was familiar with like blood sausage, what's called blood sausage. A lot of places still vacant down here. Sometimes I wonder if a lot of these, and I've seen some food markets come and go. They came and they lasted a year or two, and then they closed down. Too many of them, I think. I mean, you've got 115 million people. You know, it's a densely populated. In fact, I think Manila is the most densely populated city in the world, statistically. And here are these. Yeah, there's the start of the Carbone Market area, and these people are just setting up. It's about 5:30 in the afternoon, and these big bags are full of clothes, called ukay. They're used clothing that they're selling, and they have to unpack those. They have to put up their tent every night and pull their bags out of pull the clothing out of the bags, put it up, hang it all up, and take it down again. I don't know, midnight, a little after midnight, something like that. And yeah, and then I think these guys on the left are, and there are several streets down here selling gadgets and phones and eggs and food and produce. There are a couple buildings that have your wet market, your meats, a lot of eggs, and most of these eggs, almost all of these eggs, come from Bantayan Island, which is an island up on the north end of Cebu Island. They see my camera, they say, "Vlogger, vlogger." I ended up buying 6 large cabbage because I make a big batch of sauerkraut. I've got a large jar, and I make my sauerkraut, fermented cabbage. And I've tried making fermented pickles a couple times, not using vinegar, just using salt and water. These are butane for stoves, butane stoves. I thought it was something to drink.
Oh,
Looks like a drink bottle.
Okay, butane.
But
How much are they?
yeah, I make. Yeah, I couldn't find trying to make pickles. I could not find. There's a couple times I found dill to make dill pickles. Once was at Landers. Once we took a trip someplace and we found some wild dill growing, and we were allowed to.
Sweet potatoes?
Sweet
Where do
potatoes.
they come from?
From Marawi.
Oh, Mindanao.
Rawi, down in
How
Mindanao.
much per kilo?
50 per kilo.
Huh?
50 per kilo.
50 per kilo.
50 pesos per kilo.
I'll bring
I
my
found
gift
some,
card.
so they have to get shipped.
Get many things.
Shipped up from the middle of Mindanao, put on a ferry, put on a truck, which gets on a ferry, comes across to Cebu, and up I don't know, 5-6 hour trip from the south to the north, unless they get on a ferry that goes into Cebu City. Not sure what, they probably go to Cagayan de Oro and then get on a ferry there. Found some other more purplish sweet potatoes. I think they're the healthiest of there are several different types of potatoes and sweet potatoes. And I think they come from Delegat, which is a city and a mountain area down in the south area of Cebu Island. And
Where
yeah,
do the eggs come from? Bantayan?
more eggs from
Bantayan
Bantayan Island. If you haven't been to
Bantayan
Bantayan, worth the
Okay.
trip. Bantayan, couple islands up there, Bantayan Island and Malapascua, which is a lot smaller than Bantayan Island. But in my view, it's more interesting. It's more of a scuba diving
all
place
eggs come
because
from
you're
Bantayan
close to
Island,
the
right?
thresher shark area. That's where I learned to scuba dive many years ago and went out early in the morning to see the thresher sharks. Oh, what an experience that was. Go down about 90 feet and wait for the thresher sharks to come by. They don't eat people apparently. We don't taste very good. They use their thresher tail, they thrash and stun the fish and then go back and eat them. That's my understanding. A lot of electric little vehicles down here. Anyway, yeah, if you're the adventurous type, couple things lacking is CRs, bathrooms, toilets in many places. That would be a big advantage if they had more of those, I think. But the streets are wider, cleaner. They used to be very narrow. Anyway, thanks for coming along. That's it for now. See you in the next video.